So we want to jump into hearing from you about sustainability. So this, you'll see in the chat, there's a link to a Mentimeter. And we want you to just take a moment to think about what's the one word that comes to mind when you hear sustainability. You see words like systems thinking, sovereignty, future, health, farming, care, essential, lots of another one around care or self-sufficient. We sometimes think of the 3 E's like ecology or environment, equity, a lot of, there we go, environmental and economically friendly, no waste. Someone said thrifty or a circle of life. There really isn't one word that really defines, or one way to define sustainability. And you'll see that, there's, for you all, there's many kind of cross concepts. I love, someone said traditional recipes, local inputs versus outside of the area. So kind of just thinking a little bit about sustainability, and thanks for those, and I'll sharing additional ones that come through. We can think about this idea of sustainability being the goal. And I really encourage, when I work with schools, for them to think about, how do they define sustainability? There might be a definition that they really like. And it could be, Jeswyn and I use the Sustainable Development Goals a lot, of which there are 17 that sort of break down this bigger concept of sustainability. And there also are definitions that the Brundtland Commission in 1987 put forth. But I really encourage schools and early childhood centers and nonprofits that are talking about sustainability to define that for themselves, because it is often like organic or green. It's used in multiple ways, and it doesn't always have strength unless we're really talking about the values that are behind it. So no matter how you define sustainability, you're likely talking about improving the quality of life in your community. And that community could be small C community, and it could be big C community, like the global community. And we really think about starting with place as being essential. If sustainability is the goal defined by your community values, and place is the context where that happens. And the image on the left is some ways that we think about place as being in the home or in the schoolyard, the neighborhood, kind of echoing out into the community. The larger could be a city, the watershed, a state or bioregion, depending on if you're using political boundaries or ecological boundaries, the nation, the globe. These are ways that we can think about place. The background picture on the right is the Mississippi Delta. And so that might be your place. That might be where you're enacting the sustainability values and goals. So I love this quote from Amy Demarest, who wrote a book on place-based learning. She says, "Truth building for each individual happens in the context of the places where we live." So this definition or this idea of sustainability doesn't necessarily help us define sustainability. And what we have found over the last 20 years of doing work with educators on sustainability is that this definition is so complex. And as Jeswyn said, I've gotten a chance to learn from folks that I've encountered in schools. And what we really found was that the way to sort of break it down in a way for it to be manageable, this complexity of ideas that make up sustainability, is something we call the big ideas of sustainability. They're concepts that are repeated over time throughout a person's life within the content that they might be learning within the school day. It's connected to the skills. So these are I should say these are some of the big ideas. I've worked with schools that have additional big ideas and replace them. Like Linda in the last quote there said, regeneration. And that was one that another school that I worked with said that's one of our big ideas. So these are just some ideas that are useful to potentially think about. And if you see here, ideas like systems, someone said systems thinking was part of how they think about sustainability. The ecological terms here like cycles and interdependence and community and diversity are also social concepts that we might consider. So ideally you would find these in your place and across time, and that your students that you work with really get a chance to experience multiple times throughout their early childhood to 12th grade and beyond experiences.